suppression against Federation vessels.
They did a good job doctoring that video.
We need something that would give conclusive evidence of your innocence.
Cosmos!
What you just saw was a vision of the future, where Udo encounters Cosmos.
Why did you come here?
You wanna know? Then come to that time. To that place.
I don't understand any of this.
Chapter 28, Proto-Merkaba. The group make it back to the Durandal, where Junior comforts Momo as she feels bad for letting Albedo take the Y data. After Momo says that she believes she has Junior's bullet charm to thank for her safe return, Shelly prepares to fire on the Song of Nephilim to finally destroy it. Junior then gives the go-ahead to fire, and when they do, the shots are deflected, to everyone's surprise. Suddenly, the remaining Gnosis in the area start getting absorbed by the Song of Nephilim. If you remember my early Act 2 videos, you should know where this is going. Turns out, Albedo came back for some fun. Using his ES, Albedo releases a wave of energy which summons Proto-Merkaba. As a gigantic structure hovers over them, Hulmer, who is looking on these events, claims that it's impossible as it dropped Proto-Merkaba in the abyss along with Miltia. But as we know, that was a lie by a UTIC agent inside the Federation. The Blue Testament is seen hanging nearby on his ES, saying that Albedo has forgotten his duty as summoning Proto-Merkaba was not necessary. But the Red Testament telepathically communicates with him, telling him to come back, calling him Virgil. Yep, the Blue Testament is Virgil. Seems that soon after he died, Wilhelm came into contact with his consciousness and made a deal with him. Or at least that's what I believe. But to be honest, this is never explained. It matters not though. The Red Testament shows Virgil something involving the images of Cosmos and naked Xion that Albedo saw, and this somehow makes Virgil realize what this is all about. I can only assume that it has to do with helping awaken Mary's consciousness inside Cosmos, but I'm not sure. Anyways, Virgil then leaves the area and Albedo continues having fun. He links the Song of Nephilim with Proto-Merkaba and forms the giant space fortress I mentioned way back in the beginning of Act 2. Then, having absorbed the Gnosis with the Song of Nephilim, he begins to take aim with Proto-Merkaba and completely obliterates the Federation ships. This should give you a look at how Albedo has never really wanted to kill Junior, otherwise he could have easily done it here. Albedo is just provoking him, when he tells him that this demonstration was just using a minute amount of energy left over, and that when fully powered it can be much more devastating. Albedo begins to absorb more Gnosis using Proto-Merkaba this time, as it has now linked with the Song of Nephilim. Xion notices the light emitted by Proto-Merkaba looks just like when Cosmos herself absorbed the Gnosis. Albedo goes on to explain what I've already told you about these two devices, how they use the Gnosis as a medium to collect the weights from the Zohar. Apparently, he learned all about how to operate the Song of Nephilim Merkaba Fortress when he dove into Momo's subconscious, which I'm sure made her feel great. So Albedo continues to, honestly, just outright mock them. He begins uncontrollably laughing, which pisses Junior off.
5 minutes, or perhaps 10. You look a little pale there. Scared, are you? Perhaps I should just turn you all to pillars of salt. That's not a bad idea. Red will become white.
Don't mock us, you bastard!
So, what to do.
I love the way you can see Albedo actually trying to stop laughing as he continues to giggle. Like, he is legit having fun here. When Albedo takes aim at second Miltia, Junior tells him that he won't let that happen and orders him to stay where he is, as it's time for both of them to settle matters between them. After telling him that this isn't like him, as he doesn't give a damn about anyone but himself, he ends the call as he continues to laugh. The team get a briefing about Proto Merkaba from Julie Mizrahi, haven't heard from her in a while, in which she completely ignores Momo. After getting more information from Momo about what they can expect inside of Proto Merkaba, Mary tells him that the Federation is sending reinforcements, but they won't get there in time, so it's up to them. Before they leave, Ganon tells Junior to make sure not to let Albedo's provocation get to him again. Then the Elsa heads inside of Proto Merkaba. Inside, they find the place where Momo was created, and further inside, they make it to the reactor core of Proto Merkaba, where Albedo awaits them, and shows his quote-unquote power of will, which looks like a blue aura emanating from him. He says it's a fundamental power that exists within everyone, and that what they're seeing is just their perception of it? I don't know, man. This is never brought up again, like a lot of things in Xenosaga 1. They fight Albedo, but of course, they don't win, because it's Albedo. Junior asks him why he's doing this, as he doesn't stand to gain anything, and Albedo tells him that he's doing it for Rubido's sake. He brings up the events of Old Miltia when Rubido cuts the spiritual link, causing all URTVs to go mad. Yes, he's still salty about that. He always saw that as Rubido abandoning him. Finally, Rubido fesses up to what he did and admits that he couldn't control his fear. Essentially, that he was being a coward. Albedo then opens Proto Merkaba's reactor, which seems to have fused with the Gnosis it absorbed. Albedo calls Rubido his other half as he wishes him farewell, and leaves him and the rest to fight the Gnosis-fused Proto Merkaba reactor, as defeating it is the only way that they can stop Proto Merkaba. Cosmos switches to maximum output for this fight. I don't think it makes a difference gameplay-wise. And after, in typical JRPG fashion, the battlefield turns into some otherworldly impossible space. Then the battle commences. The group manage to destroy the reactor Gnosis and to run away as it begins to become unstable and explode. Ziggy notices some rumbling, and Chaos mentions that it feels as if they're changing directions. Cosmos confirms that Proto Merkaba is indeed changing directions and is descending onto second Miltia at full speed. Albedo's doing, of course. Xion notes that they have to stop it, as something this large crashing onto Miltia at this speed would be catastrophic. Cosmos tells them that if they manage to break the facility into 28,000 pieces, then almost all of them would vaporize before reaching Miltia. Xion gets the idea to separate each subcompartment, and after Momo tells them that they can detach the subcompartments in the control room, they all hurry over there. However, once they get there, they realize that the command to separate the subcompartments can only be done in the control room, not remotely, and it takes a minute to begin, which is not enough time to make it back to the Elsa. As nobody else could possibly be fast enough, Cosmos tells Xion that she will do it, assuring her that her self-preservation functions are working properly, and she doesn't plan to go down with Proto Merkaba, as she can reach the Elsa in under a minute if she runs at maximum speed. With some hesitation from Xion, they all decide to trust Cosmos and run toward the Elsa. Before she leaves, Xion tells Cosmos,
Cosmos! You better make it back! You hear me? You better!
As the group begins to run to the Elsa, we see Cosmos completing the detachment sequence. As Proto Merkaba breaks into thousands of smaller pieces, the group manage to make it to the docking area where the Elsa is, and they're all run inside. All except Xion, who stays outside to wait for Cosmos. Junior tells Matthews what's happening and tells him to prepare for liftoff, at which Matthew asks him why they're just preparing and not actually leaving, and Junior tells him that they're waiting for Cosmos, telling him that,
"But if I say we wait, we wait!"
As we see Xion waiting for Cosmos, debris begins to crash on the Elsa, making Tony and Matthews anxious, but Junior tries to hold out longer. At this point, Proto Merkaba begins to completely fall apart, and Junior has no choice but to lift off immediately, much to Xion's dismay.
Lift off!
As the Elsa lifts off, Shion falls back into the ship and calls out to Cosmos. Despite Shion telling Matthews to return for Cosmos, Matthews calls her crazy, asking her if she wants to get caught in all the destruction. When Shion is ready to give up hope, however, she hears Nephilim's voice telling her to see with her heart, whatever that means. When she does this, she actually manages to see with her heart. She actually manages to see Cosmos and immediately know her location, most likely because of her connection to her as the Maiden of Mary. Upon realizing where she is, Shion tells Matthews to get close to the wall with specific directions as to where to go. Matthews is confused by this request, but Tony, without hesitation, repeats the direction Shion gives him and, being the pilot, takes the Elsa to where Shion told him to go. There, Cosmos is seen blowing open the wall and jumps out towards the Elsa. Shion manages to grab her, but remember, she's an android. She's freaking heavy. So Shion almost drops her, but Ziggy comes to the rescue and lifts Cosmos inside. Once inside, Shion and Cosmos sit next to each other and Shion jokes, telling her,
Cosmos, I really ought to put you on a diet. Thank goodness.
Chapter 29, Shion's Guardian Angel. As the Elsa makes it out of Proto Merkaba, it seems they're not out of the woods yet. As they approach Second Miltia, it seems the angle that they're sending in is too steep, causing the Elsa to begin burning. However, as luck would have it, the controls aren't responding, as the external hold temperature starts to reach its maximum limit, and the Elsa turns into what is essentially a metal fireball. We see Chaos by himself, burdened by what he should do, as he believes that he should not use his powers to intervene. But then his buddy Mary decides she'll take over. As she walks by, Chaos seems to notice something different about Cosmos. Although right before this we see her eyes are red, when Chaos tells her to wait, Cosmos says,
Relinquish your pain unto me.
which sounds very Mary-esque and not very Cosmos-y. Then she heads out onto the elevator. Also, just a note, the quote may seem weird, but in another translation, I saw that what she says is more akin to relinquish your burdens onto me, which makes more sense. She's essentially telling Yeshua, I got this, bro. Back to the bridge of the Elsa, Hammer mentions that someone has opened a hatch leading outside, to which Matthews responds with,
What? Who's the moron doing that?
However, Shion knows who the moron is. It's her moron, Cosmos. As they watch Cosmos on the external cameras, Cosmos tells her that she will use her energy field to shield the Elsa so they can stabilize it during this time. However, Shion, who sees Cosmos as a daughter, tells her,
Stop this at once!
Cosmos takes a long pause and simply says,
I am happy to be of service.
External cameras destroyed!
Then a few things happen. We see Chaos's hands begin to glow as Mary emerges inside Cosmos, possibly borrowing some of Yeshua's power. Remember, the power of Animus can control the power of Anima. Nephilim seemingly senses what's happening. We see a little boy stacking blocks in an unnatural fashion, also seemingly taking notice of what's happening, as he suddenly stops what he's doing and looks up. And finally, we see Wilhelm gazing at his compass of order and chaos as the second ring begins to rotate, meaning something only he can understand. As Cosmos' body begins to burn, even having the visor that created the Hilbert effect ripped off of her, Shion begs her to stop, and then suddenly, Cosmos looks up and her eyes glow blue. Mary has stepped into the forefront. At this moment, giant angelic wings emerge from Cosmos. The Elsa safely makes it to Second Miltia. Everyone on board is speechless, and Shion is on the floor saddened as she believes Cosmos has been destroyed. As Matthews looks out the Elsa's window, he sees something and calls Shion to take a look. Using a camera to show the outside of the front of the Elsa, everyone can see Cosmos standing on it, back in her red eye form, in one piece as if nothing had happened. As the Elsa continues to fly over the oceans of Second Miltia, the game cuts to the credits. Here we see Jin Uzuki visiting his parents' grave as he looks up to the sky and sees burning debris from Proto Merkaba and the Elsa flying over him. Then we cut to Ganem talking to Helmer. He says that it's clear that whatever Utic is after must be an old Miltia. Guinan informs Helmer of Albedo's appearance on the scene, which seems to shock him as he hasn't heard from Albedo since the Miltian conflict 14 years back. Then we see Albedo inside his ES saying that once Momo links up with the UMN on 2nd Miltia, his objective will be complete. In Wilhelm's office, we see the Red Testament reporting on Albedo's location. Wilhelm says that although Albedo has his own role to play in his plans, it's a shame to relegate him to such a minor role, as his will shines with a wondrous light. One might say that he has a shining will. The game ends with a scene inside the Elsa where Cosmos rejoins the group and tells Xion,
Mission complete. Xion.
Welcome back.
And that is the end of Xenosaga 1. But there is something I should probably mention. The little boy that we saw for about 2 seconds while Cosmos was saving the Elsa, yeah, him. Remember when I told you that the white data contained information about Abel and Abel's arc? Back at the end, at the very last seconds of the 2nd act? And remember how I told you that I would later explain who and what those things are? Well, I'm not going to do that now. That'll have to wait for Act 4 when I go over Xenosaga 2. I promise I'll go over Abel and Abel's arc in the first video of Act 4. So don't worry, Wes Anderson, I'll get to it. You'll get your story. For now, all I'm going to say is that this little boy is Abel, and he is not just an ordinary boy. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate all the love and support I've been getting doing this series, as it takes a very long time to do. Let me know if you guys would like me to spend less time on the little details of what people say and how people interact with each other, or if you guys actually like the little tidbits of extra details I add for the sake of character development. I know most people watching this don't need those tidbits of detail in these videos, as most of you guys have probably already played these games, but I like to approach these videos with a mentality of explaining it to someone who hasn't played the games. But as I've noticed that I have a small but dedicated group of people who watch these videos, I would appreciate your feedback. This is the end of Act 3, so like before, the next video will take a while as I now have to write the script, record it, which takes a toll on my voice, I literally talk for hours, and then edit the video's intros, plus the videos themselves. But the process should be a lot shorter for Xenosaga 2, as it is significantly shorter than Xenosaga 1. Plus, about half of the information in it I already covered, since I've been covering the events in chronological order, and Xenosaga 2 has a lot of explaining backstories of characters. Anyways, as I said before, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.